first question was Germany. Did you observe other places where they close landfills and have no other options? This was the situation in Germany about 3 or 4 years ago. The Germans made a new landfill ordinance a long time ago. Nothing happened in Germany because everybody thought they will not enforce it. The day came, and the landfills have been closed. Same situation. That's why Switzerland incinerates 400,000 tons of German waste. Because the capacity was not there. Now Germany has of course built new incinerators. Germany is incinerating some of its waste in coal-fired power plants. Germany is mechanically treating waste materials and goes with some of it in cement kilns. And they are solving their problem. That's why Switzerland now has a decreasing amount of German waste, and they'll be happy economically to burn Napoli waste. That was the first question. Next one, waste treatment. Yeah, what is pre-treatment? I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian, so I don't know how the translation came over here. The European regulation demands pre-treatment of waste before it is being landfilled. The kind of pre-treatment is not really heavily defined. Pre-treatment can be a mechanical separation of something before landfilling. Pre-treatment can be composting before landfilling. Pre-treatment can be a combination mechanical, biological. Pre-treatment before landfilling, or pre-treatment can be incineration before landfilling. So these are the options. My personal opinion is not to take the detour mechanical or mechanical-biological treatment, but go directly into an incinerator, because on the long term this will be more economic. So mainly pre-treatment will be incineration. In certain instances it can be useful to make a mechanical step, because some fraction maybe can be used in a coal-fired power plant. Zero waste. Zero waste. I mean, some people here know something about thermal.
Non si riesce a capire pretrattamento o combustione diretta, perché la traduzione non è chiara. Pretrattare o
la traduttrice qualche indicazione in più, perfetto, grazie.
Support direct incineration. I support Now, I would like to make a very clear statement. If you have another expert, as credible as I am, sitting here, he will say probably he prefers mechanical treatment before incineration. Okay? So you invite the expert you want to. I'm against pre-treatment because for economic reasons, I think on the long term we can show it's more expensive.
No, devo rimettere d'accordo le due tesi che abbiamo sentito dire da lei stesso. Perché in una prima fase mi pare di capire che lei abbia sottolineato la necessità del pretrattamento. Ora invece dice che è per l'incenerimento.
Come dicevi tu, in America infatti non il trattamento che non è economico.
There is a misunderstanding.
La lingua mi confuta
questo. There is a misunderstanding. I repeat, the European Union demands pre-treatment before landfilling. Waste incineration is pre-treatment before landfilling. Waste incineration is pre-treatment before landfilling. And of course, you can add to the scheme waste collection, waste incineration, landfilling. You can add in between waste collection mechanical treatment, waste incineration, and landfilling. Or, on the European level, you can also have the scheme collection, mechanical treatment, no incineration, and landfilling. This is the cheapest. But the landfill you create by this scheme, you have to aftercare for 500 years. And then it's not the cheapest anymore. So it's up to you. If you make an economic analysis for 20 years time, the mechanical treatment and the landfilling will be the cheapest. If you make an economic analysis for 200 years, the mechanical step and the landfilling will be more expensive than the incineration and the landfilling step. So now I'm talking as a scientist, the choice of the boundary condition determines your result. Okay, now the zero waste.
Yeah.
Maybe you know, some of you know the REACH process. The REACH process on a European level is the process where all the chemicals which we use in Europe are tested and are assessed for their risks. These are 30,000 chemicals. And many of them are used and produced in 1,000 and more tons. It's a fact that we are using many chemicals in large amounts which are hazardous. And they're very useful. Most of these electronics here have hazardous materials in them, and they're very useful, these things. Also, all the chairs, the shoes, the clothes we wear, most of them contain hazardous chemicals. They're very useful. But at the end of the lifetime, we have to do something with these chemicals. That's why I don't believe in zero waste. Actually, I'm very happy to have waste. First, because I get the money from the waste, but that's another story. The more waste we have, the more we know that those hazardous materials are being treated properly. Because if they are recycled, we lose completely control. If we take the cadmium, the endocrine phthalates, the lead and all these things in the plastics, we make tiles, we put the tiles on our rooftop, we leave them there for 40 years, and after 40 years somebody finds out they burn nice and neatly and burns them in their stove. We have a very severe problem. So I prefer to have these wastes today and dispose of them properly. So zero waste for me is at the moment and for the next 100 years no solution, because during the next 100 years we will certainly use a lot of materials which we have to dispose of safely. Packaging, only little effective. If only 15% of all the plastic material is used for packaging, if only 15% of all the paper is used for packaging, then it's very clearly that such a packaging ordinance cannot solve the major problems. But it is the public that demands such packaging ordinances. At least in the 90s it was the public. Politicians have done what the public has demanded and have made those packaging ordinances, which in the year 2000, between 2003 and 2007, in many countries have been reduced now back to the economics, back to the ecological sensible amounts. And I think now it makes sense, and we have to focus on the large amounts, not on the small amounts. It is basically wrong in waste management to collect functions. Packaging is a function. In waste management, we have to collect substances. We have to collect polyethylene.